Hola, how is everybody? I hope you are well. Today I want to talk about cupping and what it does, what it is, and how to use it. I'm Ana from Ana Guerrero's Holistic Wellbeing, and let's get started. Okay, so cupping. What is cupping? It's an ancient healing technique, Chinese, but it's also been widely used by the Turkish. And what they do is they call it hijama, which is wet cupping. There are two types of cupping, dry cupping and wet cupping. Wet cupping involves bleeding, so they do a few superficial cuts or punctures on the affected area, and then they place the cup and they create suction in the cup so that the toxic blood or the stagnated blood can come out and it frees the area so that blood circulation and qi circulation can be restored. Now then, there are different sizes. I don't do wet cupping, haven't trained for that. You have to be qualified to do wet cupping, okay? I do dry cupping, and I have different sizes here. So there is the large one, medium, and the small one, and you would use them accordingly to whatever area you are working on the body. And you also have silicone cups like this one and this one. This one, the smaller ones, I use for my facials. I don't use these on clients, but I use it on myself. And if you get one of these, you can get them on eBay, for example. If you're going to do facial cupping, make sure that you do a very gentle suction, okay? You don't want to bruise, and we're going to talk about bruises in a second. So all you do is very gentle cupping upwards, okay? It's good for the collagen. It helps the skin and the muscles of the face get the recoil action of the tissues, the natural recoil action. How it works, so let's say that I have pain on my forearm, I have a little bit of tendinitis, and it just feels like it's all a bit stiff and stagnated and painful. So there are two ways I use the cups. One would be gliding it up and down. I would use some oil first and then glide it up and down to stretch the fascia and the tissues. Or you can leave them on one particular point where the problem area is and where most of the blood stagnation is. And you can leave the cup to do its magic. So basically it will extract all the stagnated fluids and crystals, or toxic crystals that get stuck in between the fibers of the muscle and the fascia. Do you know why after doing exercise, or do you know why you are sore? It's because of the metabolic waste. So muscles work on glucose, and when this glucose has been burned and there isn't any more in the reserves, it starts burning other chemicals which produce toxic waste. Okay, so these toxins are tiny little crystals that get stuck in between the fibers of the muscles, and this is why it hurts, because the crystals are denting into the fibers, you see. So the cup will help these crystals get unstuck and flow again. So with the restored circulation, this toxic waste will be flushed out of the area that we want to treat. So let me do a little demo. There you go. So I use an air pump to create the vacuum in the cup. Other therapists may use glass cups. This one is hard plastic. The therapists that use glass cups, they use fire to create the suction effect. Bruises. Okay, many people believe that what the cups do is bruising. And let me explain. A bruise comes up because the blood vessels have been broken. So when you have a blow on the arm or whatever, you know, you get a bruise. This is because the blow has broken the vessels. But with the cupping, no vessels are broken. It's not actual bruising. What it is that the cups, and because of the suction, they extract the blood and other stuff that runs through the vessels via diffusion through the walls of the vessels. The walls of the vessels have got, you know, they are not, they are porous to allow this diffusion, yeah? And so this is what happens. It's not bruising, we're not breaking people's blood vessels, it's just an extraction by diffusion. I think I have covered everything I wanted to talk about. It's not painful. In fact, I personally really enjoy the feeling of the skin being pulled. For a first timer, it might feel a little weird because it's a funny sensation if you haven't had it before, but it's not painful. And different therapists will have different theories on what cupping is and what it does to you. But basically, and based on my experience, what it is that it creates a pull of the fascia. So let's say that you are sedentary, you know, you have a sedentary lifestyle and you don't move much, and so your fascia gets stuck in some places. For fascial health, the best is movement, okay? So you can even have a cheeky little dance in your living room every day and you're already benefiting your fascia. You're making it stretch and, you know, moving all the different ways your joints allow you to, and you'll be really doing a lot of goodness to your body. And so you don't need to work super hard, you know, all you need very much is movement. So yes, imagine that you haven't been moving your arms a lot. You may have a desk job, so you don't move the shoulders much, and so the fascia gets stuck, you know, normally around this area here. So what the cupping does when we glide it along the medial border of the scapula, you know, around this area, we are stretching that fascia, bringing back that natural recoil effect that I talked about earlier. And apart from stretching the fascia and this underlying tissues, what it does is it restores the circulation. I have a client who was receiving sports massages for back pain, and I started doing cupping on her after a few sessions of just manual massage. I then used the cups, and this client had, I can't recall the actual term of this, but you know, when you have a little accumulation of fluids around this area at the base of the neck and upper back, you know, it looks like a lump of fluids, and normally this is genetic, so if you have that, you may find that your mom and your granny also have it, but it can be helped, you know. And so without it being the intention, she contacted me a few days later and she said, Anna, my accumulation of fluids there has gone down. And that was an accidental benefit of the cupping that I did for her. So yes, cupping distributes the fluids to where they're meant to go to, okay? It helps draining and it helps breaking down the crystals of the toxic waste, and it helps stretching the fascia. So that's all I wanted to talk to you about today. I hope you're having a good month so far, and I'll see you next time. Bye.